माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन जय जनरंजन श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Manoj, are you able to hear? Is it audible? Next. Hare Krishna, welcome all for this Saturday morning IYF class. So today our topic of discussion is friendship amongst devotees. So we'll take one verse from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 10th canto, 80th chapter, verse number 38. Everybody is able to see it? वयं प्रसन्तत्र महानिलाम्बुभिः निहन्यमानामहुरम्बु सम्प्लवे दिशो विदन्तोत परस्परं वने गृहीतहस्ता परिभ्रमातुरा वयं भ्रमस्तत्र महानिलाम्बुभिः निहन्यमानामहुरम्बु सम्प्लवे दिशो विदन्तोऽथ परस्परं वने गृहीतहस्ता परिभ्रमातुरः वयं वयं वृषं तत्र महानिलाम्बुभिः निहन्यमानामहुरम्बुसम्प्लवे दिशो विदन्तोत परस्परं वने गृहीतहस्ता परिभ्रमातुराः Prabhu, so you would like to recite?
Vayam vrisham tatra mahanilambuvi
Vayam vrisham tatra mahanilambuvi
Hanyamana mahurambu samplave
Nihanyamana mahurambu samplave
Disho vidanto taparaspararam mane
Disho vidanto taparaspararam mane
Grahita hasta paribhavrimatura
Grihita hasta paribhavrimatura Vayam vrisham tatra mahanilambuvi Nihanyamana mahurambu samplave Disho vidanto taparaspararam mane Grihita hasta paribhavrimatura
Vayam vrisham tatra mahanilambuvi
Vayam vrisham tatra mahanilambuvi Nihanyamana mahurambu samplave Disho vidanto taparaspararam mane Grihita hasta paribhavrimatura Vayam we Vrisham thoroughly Tatra there Maha great Anila by the wind Ambubhi and water Nihanyamanaha we said Muhu continuously Ambu samplave in the flooding Disaha the directions Avidantaha unable to discern Ataha then Parasparam each others Vane in the forest Grihita holding Hastaha hands Paribhabrima we wandered Aturaha distressed. Translation and purport by the disciples of Divine Grace, Śrīla Prabhupāda, Śrīla Prabhupāda. Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai. Constantly beset by the powerful wind and rain, we lost our way amidst the flooding waters. We simply held each other's hands and in great distress wandered aimlessly about the forest. Purport. Srila Sridhar Swami points out that the verb paribhabrima may be understood to be the prefix pari with either the verb bri or brahm. In case of brahm, it indicates that Krishna and Sudama wandered all about. And in case of bri, which means to carry, it indicates that as the two young boys wandered about, they continued to carry the firewood they had secured for their spiritual master. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Udapad Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Jagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Karijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamsha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे नमो भावजन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामे गौर तुषे नमः हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So, welcome you all again for today morning IYF class discussion. So, today our topic of discussion is Priti Lakshanam, or friendship amongst devotees. Discussing that. So, you all know this is beautiful pastime that Krishna and Sudama, both of them actually, they were staying actually in the house of Sandipani Muni, who was their spiritual master actually, and they were getting trained there together. And at one point of time, Sandipani Muni told them actually that you go to forest and collect firewood. And it was in the Vedic time actually, it was the duty of the disciple to bring actually offerings for the spiritual master by going and begging out in the houses nearby actually. Whether the son is, the child is of king or a poor Brahman or anybody else actually for that matter, in Gurukul everybody was treated equally. No discrimination. That is why you see Krishna and Sudama, they are staying in same place only. And same activity they are doing actually. That is why in the schools also you see there is something called as uniform. Why they have uniform school dress? So that everybody looks same only. There is no discrimination, things like that. All these things actually they have copied from Vedic time, but the spirit they have not copied. Only externals they have copied actually. Like that. So that is the problem in the modern education system actually. So Krishna and Sudama, both of them, they were there actually at one point of time in the forest. And when they were collecting the firewood, suddenly actually there was a big thunderstorm, big thunderstorm actually. And rain started pouring and things like that. So here in this particular sloka it comes, this paribhram or paribhram. So paribhram means actually in one hand, you see here this particular photo. In one hand, actually they are carrying what? The firewood. And the other hand, they are holding each other very nicely. So they are not forgetting the service to their spiritual master. Ordinarily, in the material world, also people talk about friendship. But that friendship is like you scratch my back, I scratch your back. As long as you satisfy my senses, I'm your good friend. As soon as you stop supplying my sense gratification, you are no longer my friend. You are my enemy. That is why you see most of the families actually, the brothers, when they are small children, they are living very happily, peacefully, and things like that. As soon as that sense gratification is being hampered by the other brother, the money is taken by the other brother, or the other brother is being favored more by the parents or something like that, immediately there will be fire in the house, no peace, no calmness, no things actually properly going on in the family. Why? Because that kind of relationship is based on what? You scratch my back, I scratch your back. But that won't satisfy the heart actually. What will satisfy the heart, and what is the difference between the material friendship and the friendship amongst devotees is this. This is the major thing. What is that? The devotees are well-wishers of each other. At the same time, they have in their mind the goal of satisfying their spiritual master. So in one hand, they are actually having good friendship. They are holding each other's hand. At the same time, they are not forgetting service to their spiritual masters. So it is not that we come in the association of devotees and we are, stay with the devotees And then we start appreciating each other and then forget about the service. The service also has to be done. At the same time, loving relationship amongst devotees also has to be established. So we'll see eventually that how loving devotional service or loving friendship amongst devotees helps devotees to overcome material desires. So here you see both of them, they are roaming around. They are brahmata actually. They are roaming in the forest, but they are not leaving the actually firewood, whatever firewood they are carrying in their hands. In the material world, actually, the things are completely opposite. I'll tell you one small story from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam on 11th canto. So this particular story comes in 11th canto, 8th chapter actually, where 24 gurus of this Avadut Brahman, he describes actually to Prahlad Maharaj. So these 24 gurus, he tells lessons actually from them. One of the very small anecdote that is being mentioned there, the day before yesterday when I was reading actually. Very nice story that comes there. So it says that once actually there was a family, and in that family there was a young girl who was of marriageable age. And it so happened that actually the day when the girl was to be visited by the would-be what is it? In-laws, she's going to get married and things like that. So the would-be in-laws are going to visit, but nobody there at the house. And Vedic time, everything was there at the back end hall. Like let's say, here is the house, behind the paddy field. In the paddy field, you grow paddy, and then the store behind the house, beside actually cows are there and everything like that. So mother, father, nobody is there. Actually, the girl is alone with someone, one or two servants and things like that. And then the in-laws come actually, suddenly that they have come here actually. So she was thinking, what should I do? So there was no grain actually in the house because the parents went for purchasing and things like that. So she went, in the back side of the house, and she thought, now I will husk actually some, rice, and then cook rice for them and then give them and things like that. But actually, she was wearing a lot of bangles. So the lesson is from the bangles, not from the external things. Actually, a lot of other details are mentioned. So the bangles actually, as she was husking, the bangles chick 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 like that. A lot of sound of bangles they were making. So then she thought maybe I should reduce the number of bangles so that the in-laws, they are not knowing that actually they are not having rice at their house. And they are poor fellows actually. That's why she is just husking the rice. So what she did, she kept only two bangles in her hands. Again, she was husking, again it was making sound. So again what she did? She removed one more bangles. And now she was husking and it was, no, there was no more sound actually. So this, Avadut Brahman draws very important lessons from here. He says that whatever is the point of envy in the material world for people that they have, one object is there. It is said, "Ek anar so bimar." Many people are aspiring for the same thing only. And everybody is, for sure that this is the thing that actually everybody is aspiring for and everybody is envious for, then better to give it up. This is the lesson that he draws, very important lesson. I'll tell you one, practical lesson in my own life actually. Like my uncle and my father, both of them, they lived actually very joint family very happily for many years. At one point of time, it was decided actually that the family will divide the property and things like that. So there are two lands, one place double land in there and one place half of that is there. Now my uncle has four sons and my brother has two sons, me and my brother. So uncle, since the family was joint family and things like that, we always lived like a, never ever discriminated actually that, he's uncle or something like that. In fact, we used to call our uncle as Papa. Why? Because his children, they would call him as Papa. They'll call my father as Kaka. So we'll call my Kaka, father till date, we call him Kaka only. And, my, auntie, we will call Mummy only. And my mother, we will call Ma. Like that. So that much, good relationship and things were there. But at one point of time, then, uncle said, see, you have four sons. I have four sons, you have two sons. So we'll divide the property according to sons, not according to our division and things like that. And father was saying, no, this, that, and everything. And that time I was in just 8th class and things like that. I said, nothing doing, no problem. Just give it off. Why to have so much of trouble at house and things like that. And during those 2-3 months, lot of fight, lot of issues. Mother was saying, nothing doing, you can't do this and things like that. But me and my brother, both of us, we said, not a problem. We are well educated and we have strength and we learn and it'll grow, no problem. So we gave up actually that double property to them and we accepted half property. And all relatives and everybody was surprised. How come you are able to do these things? So eventually what happened, these four sons of my uncle, they started growing in their own business and things like that. Now the mentality grows actually, same mentality. Now they got their own wives and things like that. Now they started fighting among themselves. Last time I had been at home, 3 days went in just resolving their fights only. They are fighting worse than the cats and dogs. In fact, the eldest brother is there, his daughter doesn't stay in their house only because she stays in the mama's house because they fight a lot. All the time they are fighting only actually. So whatever is the point of envy in the material world, if we give up, actually we remain very peaceful. While giving up, it is sometimes it feels like, oh, not so easy. I may be exploited, or I may be, taken away or things like that. For that matter, then nothing will be left with me and things like that. But know for sure that Krishna is having some or other better arrangement than us. Whatever we can plan. If we can just have the courage to give up those attachments, actually. So, when I read this story, actually, I was very much taken. Like that, I've seen many times. Some devotees, sometimes they are serving in one project together, and both the preachers are there. They want to take over the project and things like that. They are having some politics also to take over the project and things like that. One devotee who gives up and goes away, but Krishna gives him more. Krishna supplies him more services, and Krishna gives him more resources also. And eventually, this devotee was trying to hold this project. Actually, that project also goes down or collapses and things like that. Many times I have seen this. So, in case in the material world, this kind of things takes place if you have the material consciousness. But on the other hand, in the association of devotees, opposite things takes place. What is that opposite thing? I'll just show you one sloka. So there are many more things that will come to. But before that, I just wanted to show you this. How does a devotee conquer all material desires by association of devotees? So when we come in the association of devotees, then what happens? Let us see. So we'll come back to this also. I just you're able to see. Nothing. I think you repeat after. Say it like this. Parasparanugathanam Pavanam Bhagavadasha Mithoradir Mithustustir Nivrittir Mirtha Atmanaha Parasparanugathanam Pavanam Bhagavatyasah Mithoradir Mithustustir Nivrittir Mirtha Atmanaha. The equivalent table of the same sloka is here. You're able to see, right? Okay. Yeah. How does a devotee conquer all material desires? You can see. So first, the devotee comes, in contact with devotees. And what is the first thing that he is supposed to do? Not scratch each other's back. Parasparanu kathanam. So in the association of devotees, what happens? Discuss Krishna Katha. Okay, this is very important sloka actually for our discussion. In that discussion, when we share Krishna consciousness or Krishna Katha with each other, then what happens? Heart gets purified. That is next part of the sloka. Pavanam Bhagavati Yasa. Pavanam means actually it is auspicious at the same time purifying also. So heart gets purified by what? Not by the loving relationship, but by what? Krishna Katha. Mitoratir mitas tustir. By that, what happens? The next stage comes. Satisfaction and happiness. When we are satisfied, when we are having that Krishna Katha amongst devotees, then what happens? Satisfaction, the real satisfaction of the heart comes. Why? Because actually Paramatma gives that joy. That also will come to discuss again. Then by that what happens? Again, the devotees, they aspire for each other's association more and more. They are looking for opportunity. When I will go to temple and hear about Krishna. When I will meet that devotee and hear about Krishna. So this is loving friendships are developed. And when that loving friendships are developed, then one forgets about the material desires. So encourages each other leads to complete eradication of material desires. So this is the power of association of devotees and having loving relationship amongst devotees. Otherwise, it is very difficult to give up the material desires just by jnana process. So this is what is being recommended by our acharyas. And let us see. Somebody can read it loudly. What Jiva Goswami says here. This comes with it.
Though one usually ignores others in attaining one's own goals, those aspiring for prema accept dependence on others with similar goals and tastes. Thus, cooperating with each other, they work together, keeping in mind the goal of prema.
So very important. See what Jiva Goswami is saying. Though one usually end of life, each one of us have to fly our own plane. Correct, no? Prabhupada says. When we will give up this body, that time nobody else will be able to there, to help us. Of course, devotees can remind us of Krishna, but at the same time, we have to put our own endeavor actually. So that is at the time of death. So that is the goal. Remember Krishna at the time of death. Ante Narayana Priti. That is the goal. But those aspiring for prema accept dependence on others with similar goals and tastes. So we all are aspiring actually at the end of the Shikshastakam. We always say that, what is the goal of every sadhaka? Krishna prema. So that, one achieves finally this Krishna prema. That is possible provided we associate with devotees who are having similar goals and taste. Thus, cooperating with each other, they work together, keeping in mind the goal of prema. So they may not have very good loving relationship amongst each other, but at least they cooperate and don't fight. That is what Jiva Goswami is describing. And that is possible provided, actually, first we feel the need of loving relationship amongst devotees. Or first we feel the need of devotees amongst each other. Many times actually the uncontrolled mind cheats us in such a way that we feel like, why association of devotees is required? I can practice my own actually. See, this is the trick of the mind. As we start getting a little bit purified, then the mind says that I have conquered everything actually. I have become a Suddha Bhakta. And all others are what? Conditioned souls. They are struggling with their anarthas and things like that. I am advanced devotees. Then he become a free advisor to others. Then he start finding fault with others, start envying others and things like that. So this is very dangerous. So now what, as sadhaka we should do when we are practicing Krishna consciousness. See, first thing that, in the life of a devotee, specifically sadhakas, in the initial years of Krishna consciousness, so the association is actually on 3 levels. Association means, His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj says 3 things. Association means 3 things. You can repeat after me. First thing is association means, there is discussion about Krishna. What is the first thing? Discussion about Krishna. That is the meaning of association. Second thing is there is knowledge transmission. What is second thing? Knowledge transmission. Third thing is heart transformation. These 3 things are taking place. That is the meaning of association. If these 3 things are not happening, that means it is not association. It is simply like you scratch my back, I scratch your back. These 3 things are supposed to take place. And our endeavor is what? To do the first thing. What is that? Krishna Katha. The other 2 are taken by Krishna. First one is what? Discussion about Krishna. Second thing is what? Knowledge transmission. When we discuss about Krishna, automatically there is knowledge transmission. Correct? Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mat chitta mad gata prana bodhayanta parasparam katayantascha mam nitya tushyanti cha ramanti cha. What is the sloka? Very important sloka. Same thing. What you just now we discussed, same thing Krishna is saying. That mat chitta mad gata prana. When the devotees come, with each other, they don't ask, oh, how's your job going on? How's your life going on? Little bit they discuss about this, but they ask majorly. If we are only in bodily concept of life, then somebody is inquiring those things, then we'll be happy with that only. But if we are advancing in Krishna consciousness, then we will be happy with those devotees who ask us, Prabhu, how's your sadhana going on? How about your japa? How about your hearing? How about your consciousness? Are you able to think of Krishna? If somebody is inquiring those things, that means actually that person is our real friend. And we should also reciprocate. Not that sometimes it so happens that we ask these questions in a sarcastic way, just to discourage the other person actually. So there are three characteristics of a friend actually. That is Snigdha, then third is Satori, second one is Sajatiya, and third one is Satori. So we'll discuss about these three things in detail now. First one is Snigdha. The devotees whom we are aspiring to have loving relationship, they should be Snigdha, means actually they should be having at least some affection and compassion for us. It is not that their association brings our consciousness also down. We should actually at least try to aspire for the association of devotees who can bring our consciousness up, not degrade us. I'll give an example actually. Like you all know that in Mahabharata, it so happened that the Kauravas, they sent all the Pandavas in the exile, correct? And when the Pandavas they were there in the exile, this Duryodhana was making some or other plan always to pull down the leg of Pandavas to show them that how happy Kauravas are and how miserable you are and things like that. So at one point of time on the bank of Godavari, actually the other side of Godavari Pandavas, they were staying very peacefully. But then, Duryodhana thought, today, we will go with our family and, with our full entourage and we'll have a nice picnic there actually and we'll show all the Pandavas that how happy we are and things like that. So these Kauravas, actually entire army, their family, relatives, everybody came and they had very nice picnic and things like that. Meanwhile, actually the demigods, they also had some plans. So they sent some Gandharvas to take bath there. And the soldiers of Duryodhana party, they picked up some quarrel with Gandharvas. And on the other side, who was observing actually that the Kauravas are having very nice picnic? Pandavas, and especially Bhima. Bhima was like burning inside actually. But Yudhishthira Maharaj was peaceful. He said, whatever is written in our quota, not a problem, will come to us. So, this, Kaurava, they started fighting with the Gandharvas. And the Gandharva defeated everybody, including Karna and everybody actually. And they captured finally Duryodhana, that this fellow is behaving like an animal. He'll be a nice, caricature for our heavenly planets. We'll take him there actually. So the Gandharva actually caught Duryodhana like this and they were flying actually in the sky. Meanwhile, some soldiers actually they swam across the river and they came to Yudhishthira Maharaj, please help. Things like that time Yudhishthira Maharaj, Bhima was there. Yeah, abhi maza aaya. Abhi aaya wood pahad ke niche. Now you will get to know about our glories and things like that. And Bhima was saying, जो होता है अच्छे के लिए होता है. The Kauravas, they learned a very nice lesson. Now, if you see Duryodhana, with what motive he came actually for the picnic? To instigate more, jealousy to the Pandavas actually, to show them how happy we are. Whereas when this discussion was going on, then Yudhishthira Maharaj says to Arjuna and Bhima, go and free him. And Bhima says, nothing doing, our obstacle is only getting rid and things like that. The time Yudhishthira Maharaj says, see, for any outsider we are 105. But amongst us, some mutual disagreements are going on, not a problem, forget about it. But go and fight with that fellow and bring him back. But Bhima with a heavy heart goes and things like that. And Arjuna also goes, they fight, they bring back. Now you see Arjuna, Yudhishthira Maharaj's consciousness. Just because he was so much knowledgeable, actually, he brought the consciousness of Arjuna and Bhima also up. He brought them above the bodily concept of life. He brought them above the so-called envy, jealousy and things like that. Understanding, no? Then now Duryodhana actually, he got rid of the Gandharva and things like that. He gave a boon also, benediction also to Arjuna that whatever you ask, I will give you and things like that. But then he comes back again. And just imagine, his consciousness is so much degraded. Now he starts thinking that, what is the use? I thought actually at the end of 12 years at least, I'll kill these Pandavas and things like that. And I thought I will have lot of trust actually on this Karna. Now he was also defeated actually by this Gandharva, and this Gandharva is defeated by Arjuna. That means Arjuna is more powerful. So what is the use? So then he thought, okay, I'll commit suicide. And the Vedic way of committing suicide is what? fast till death. Don't eat anything, don't drink anything. You fast till death. So Duryodhana said therefore committing what? Suicide. Now just imagine what is his consciousness. So much degraded, correct? Now, again, all the ministers, including Karna, everybody comes actually for pacifying Duryodhana. Please don't commit suicide. That time Duryodhana becomes angry at Karna specifically too much. And he starts scolding him just because I was backing at you and thinking like that you will, give me help and you will protect me and all. But you are such a nonsense. You just ran away only actually, leaving me behind and things like that. What kind of friend you are? And things like that. And Karuna also goes away thinking that this one is not in the mood of hearing and things like that. But then actually the Vilaswarga people, they come, they say that Duryodhana, you are our representative. You are supposed to fight against these, so-called people, lead our fight against them and things like that. Of course, Duryodhana was pacified the Vilaswarga people. And they said that we will come and help you. Don't worry, don't just depend on Karna and things like that. We will also send our strength to you. And then, Duryodhana goes back actually. So just imagine now, what is the consciousness of Duryodhana and what is the consciousness of Yudhishthira Maharaj? Just by his consciousness, because he is Krishna conscious, he is uplifting the consciousness of his brothers. And his brothers, they are so powerful. Bhima, he killed actually all the 100 Kauravas. In the entire battlefield of Kurukshetra, all the 100 Kauravas are killed by whom? Bhima. And Arjuna, he killed actually all the archers. Like Bhishma Pitama, Dronacharya, all these, then Karna, Ashwatthama was defeated actually. He was not killed, I think. Jayadratha, all these, people actually who are, bowmen or archers, they were actually all killed by whom? Arjuna. So they were so powerful, so mighty actually. And Yudhishthira Maharaj was not so good at fighting and things like that. But still he could draw their respect actually. Why? Because of his character and behavior, because of his consciousness actually. Like that. Understanding? So this is the effect of snigdha. When we know that actually the other person is at least able to uplift our consciousness. So that should be the quality of association. That the person whom we are associating with, he should not degrade our consciousness, rather he should uplift our consciousness. I'll give a material example actually. It so happened that when I was teaching in Sri Chaitanya during those days, from 18 and 19, at one point of time, like we were giving IIT coaching, different students, different capacity and things like that. And amongst schools, there is always competition that which gets higher rank and things like that. So one of the students whom I was teaching for JE, and he wrote this maths Olympiad exam also, and he got first rank actually and things like that. So immediately, lot of appreciation from the management and things like that came. I have trained that student to him and things like that. So the news came to me and to other HODs and to that student also. That student said, "Sir, nothing doing. You never taught me anything actually. Rather, whatever I learned actually, you tried this. You don't know practically speaking anything." I told that student, please don't speak like this. It's not good. A lot about himself. He was telling me a lot and things like that. And get training here and things like that. Now the teacher became very miserable. He was thinking that he will pass from 12th class, he'll get very good JE rank, and I'll boast about myself and things like that. Thinking like this only, he went into depression. Yeah, the teacher went to depression, just imagine. And he was taking medicines from doctors and things like that, how to overcome depression and things like that. So just imagine how when the consciousness is degraded, just by thinking about selfishness, one can become depressed. On the other hand, other HODs, me and all, we are okay, no problem. Gaya to gaya, और कोई आएगा, no problem. Correct, na? Because devotees, they have higher goals in their life. And in fact, in case that student is there, not there, also not a problem. In case rank comes also, or rank doesn't come also, not a problem. Let's go ahead in Krishna consciousness. So when we are in the materialistic association, actually people will try to degrade our consciousness. And that teacher, I remember for 1 month, practically he harassed me actually, saying that, how come you are not raising your voice to get back that student here? How come you are not saying anything and like that? So I was just thinking, my Lord, this fellow is simply troubling me a lot. So I left that particular coaching only. I said, nothing, just get rid of it. Then the management got to know that actually this teacher is troubling him, so they removed the teacher and then they called me again back from other coaching. So when we are actually in degraded consciousness, we are in lower consciousness of our life, then actually we harm ourselves only eventually. Now this fellow are thinking that he will blaspheme management, he will blaspheme, other people and things like that, so that everybody will get to know about his glories and things like that. What happened to him? He went to depression, he lost his job also. This is the result of degraded consciousness actually. When we associate with people, those who are degraded in their consciousness. On the other hand, if we associate with people, those who are actually satovari, that is those who can uplift our consciousness, then we will feel real satisfaction in our heart. That is what is being described in the pastime of Lord Shiva and Daksha Prajapati. So you all know this very famous pastime that once there was a big yajna that was being organized actually by Daksha Prajapati, who is one of the progenitor in the universal creation. So this Daksha Prajapati, when he was organizing, he called all the demigods. And all the demigods came that time. Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, everybody came. Brahmaji happened to be the father of Daksha Prajapati. And Shivaji happens to be son-in-law. His brother, but his son-in-law. His daughter Sati was married to Shivaji actually. So when this Daksha Prajapati enters that time actually, this fellow doesn't get up. Lord Shiva doesn't get up actually because he was absorbed in meditation. He was absorbed in Krishna. And this was not tolerated by whom? Daksha Prajapati. He thought, he is my son-in-law only, and he is not giving respect to me. And he, घर का आदमी मेरे को respect नहीं देगा तो बाहर का आदमी कैसे respect देगा? Thinking like that only, he stands up and he starts saying that, my dear Brahmanas, my dear people, I'm going to speak now something, and don't think that I'm going to speak out of envy, but I'm saying you truth. Now just imagine, he's justifying his acts also. He's saying what? I'm not speaking out of envy. I'm speaking the truth as it is. You see this Shiva. First of all, he is not at all auspicious. His name is Shiva, means auspicious. But he is very inauspicious fellow actually. Why? Because he stays where? Crematorium. And he puts all ash around his body. Never cleans. Forget about those things actually. Whenever somebody gives his daughter to a person in marriage, at least they expect the other person to have a house. Shiva doesn't have even a house. Correct, no? Lord Shiva always stays under what? Under a tree, banyan tree, always sitting there doing Krishna Katha Aram, absorbed in Krishna. So this fellow is not having any material qualities also, any spiritual qualities also. Still, just because this Parmeshti is father, Brahmaji. This fellow said me that give your daughter to marriage, in marriage to Shiva, that's why he gave. So now he is blaspheming whom? He is blaspheming Brahmaji also, he blasphemed his own father Shiva also. And knowing that actually this is what will happen in the yajna, Lord Vishnu did not come only in the yajna. So now Brahmaji also leaves the place with things like. Now eventually what happens? Then Nandi gets up and Nandi becomes angry. She starts saying that. When Daksha was saying all these things, actually, those people who were envious of Lord Shiva, they were laughing. Some of them they were showing their teeth, some of them they were showing their mustache and things like that. Then Nandi got up. Nandi starts cursing. So there is cursing, counter cursing, and all these things are going on. But at the end, actually, everything gets settled. Lord Shiva just walks off the place and things like that. Then eventually, actually, Daksha organizes another yajna. And in that, he doesn't invite Lord Shiva. And now Sati is his daughter. Now daughter wants to participate in the yajna. So she goes to Lord Shiva and says that I also want to go for yajna and things like that. Shivaji says, see, your father is not so favorable to me. Better you not go and things like that. And he has not invited also. Sati says, अरे घर वालों को invitation का जरूरत नहीं होता है. Correct, no? Like many times devotees also say this thing jokingly. Like suppose you call some devotee and say, Prabhu, आप तो हमको याद ही नहीं करते. Then the other devotee says, Prabhu, याद उनको करते हैं जिनको भूला जाता है. आपको हम भूल ही नहीं रहे तो कैसे याद करें? So devotees also sarcastically, jokingly they say like that. So then Sati said that, there is no invitation, formal invitation that is required within the family. I'm daughter. Why, invitation is required and things like that. Nevertheless, Sati, goes there and Sati was not actually received only by Daksha. In fact, Daksha doesn't look only at Sati. So then Sati becomes very angry and she understands this fellow is having too much envy for my husband actually. And then there she describes actually the 4 types of sadhus and 4 types of asadhus. So these four types of sadhus, association we should aspire, or devotees who are having these qualities we should aspire. And the four types of association, the four types of devotees or the asadhu sangha, we should try to avoid. So there is Mahat, Mahattara, Mahattama and Ati Mahattama. Sorry, I was telling about Snigdha, then Satovari we discussed, then third one I forgot. That is Sajatiya. Sajatiya means actually devotees. See, when we are there in the association of devotees, some devotees they will have taste for some particular activity. And it's not happen that actually we try to pull down their legs. Like some devotees they like memorizing slokas. And for them it is like just baya haath ka khel hai. It is there, very easily they can do things like that. So we should encourage them for that. Some devotees they are very scientific in their approach. You tell them very something scientifically convincing, they will accept it immediately. You try to tell them anything and everything, they won't accept. Like His Grace Rashapur was telling one example. During those days, actually, when Chaitanya Charitamrita was becoming devotee, 1999 he joined actually ISKCON full time. But when he was becoming devotee, Radheshyam Prabhu was his counselor and he was taking care of him and things like that. So at one point of time, one day evening, Chaitanya Charitamrita came and he had some scientific questions with Radheshyam Prabhu and he asked questions. And Radheshyam Prabhu tried answering it, it was not convincing, so Prabhuji became little strong on his points. And Chaitanya Charitamrita was, he was becoming more strong on his points and things like that. So the discussion was going on and there was, very fierce debate and things like that. And still Chaitanya was not convinced. Then Radheshyam was thinking what to do, how to inspire this fellow and things like that, how to make him humble. Somehow or other way I should make him humble and things like that. For his betterment in Krishna consciousness. So there was this Druta, Karma Prabhu, his Prabhupada disciple, very powerful, very scientific actually. He's a scientist. So he came actually that time actually to Pune. And Radheshyam Prabhu asked him immediately, Prabhuji, we have a genius here. Can you please give you some time for him and things like that. Then immediately invited Chaitanya Charitamrita and told him that you please go and ask these questions to Dhruta-karma Prabhu. So he goes and asks, and they went and closed the room and 5-6 hours, both of them they are not coming out of the room, only something and all are going on inside. And after that when Chaitanya Charitamrita came out of the room, he was like, he was so humble. And he thought previously he had some other conviction that Krishna consciousness doesn't have scientific basis and things like that. But after conversing with Dhruta-karma Prabhu, he was completely convinced. He became humble and he was very nicely practicing Krishna consciousness. Why this happened? Why? Because he met with some devotee who could inspire him in his field actually what his heart is longing for. Another example that I'll give you actually. One time it so happened that His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj was there in Mumbai. And Maharaj when he gives class actually the hall will be completely filled. Not only inside, outside, everywhere actually. So there was one scientist actually who had come for the class discussion and things like that. So at the end of the class, some people, the devotee who was mentor, who was taking care of the scientist, he asked him that, please, we'll go and meet Swamiji. So when he met Maharaj, and Maharaj said, oh, you were there in the class. Very nice. So how was the class? You liked it? He said, yes, there were many people and, you were discussing very nice things and all. But I had some scientific questions, and many people were appreciating your class, but, I have some doubts. So if you have time, we can discuss sometime and things like that. Maharaj thought, my lord, this fellow is going to ask me scientific questions. So immediately Maharaj told, hey, please call that, Bhagavan Prabhu. There is another devotee who is also very, matching with the frequency of scientists and things like that. He said, both of you sit there, sit on that sofa, and peacefully discuss sometime. And then once your discussion gets over, then you come back to. Both of them, they started discussing. 6-7 hours went actually. And the scientists, both of them, they forgot even about passing water also actually. They just imagine, forgot about prasadam also. They were like so much excited actually. And then the scientist came actually and paid obeisances to Maharaj and said, all my doubts are fully clarified. Today I'm ready to take up bead bag and chant my holy name and things like that. So a devotee who is actually higher in his consciousness, he will think that this particular fellow has this kind of interest. So he will try to inspire him in that way so that he is convinced actually in practice of Krishna consciousness. Not that, this particular fellow should be there with me only. And I should only clarify his doubts only. And he should be under me only and things like that. Then that is not Sajatiya or Satovriti. Satovriti. That association is not uplifting our consciousness. That association is actually downgrading our consciousness. So when we are actually as devotees, many people come in Krishna consciousness. So there are three, many people actually who come to Krishna consciousness eventually in the beginning. So in the beginning, those who come, many times actually they are just beneficiaries. Beneficiaries mean they just draw benefit actually out of association of devotees. Correct? No? So our goal of eventually to make them at least committed devotees. So we'll discuss about these. So first one is what? Beneficiaries. So they just draw benefit. But after just drawing benefit for some time, some people they want to contribute. So the beneficiaries become what? Contributors. They contribute, they give some donation, or once in a while Janmashtami they come, they give for Annadan, things like that. They start giving donation. So they start contributing in some or other way. After contribution comes committed. These devotees who are committed, you tell them for some service, Prabhu, you take this service, and please make sure that this is done. Once you give that seva to that particular devotee, he will make sure that you just forget even in your dreams also, he will do it for sure. Like it's pakka, like that. So that is called what? Committed devotee. Then next to committed devotee comes dedicated devotees. Dedicated devotees are the one actually whom you give one department. They will develop the department, and under them they will have 10 to 15 minimum committed devotees. And they will take the department to the next level and things like that. Next to the dedicated devotees comes missionaries. Missionary devotees, they cannot get proper sleep also in the night. They are just always thinking about expanding the Krishna consciousness. So the goal of our Krishna conscious preaching is ultimately to make everybody what? Missionary. Everybody to make missionary. But some people, they will be at the stage of what? Beneficiary only. But we should not try to push them too much also that they are broken only. Like sometimes some people actually they come once in a while in the Janmashtami and go away and things like that. Don't go and tell them that, hey Prabhu, what is this Janmashtami? Go show your darshan and go away all throughout the year. You are no more to be seen and things like that. Like some people when they come here, you ask them also, when you came last? Oh, last year Janmashtami when you had in Haryana Bhavana, I came. You remember? So if you say that last year आया था, तुमको पता नहीं यहाँ पे नया सेंटर आ गया, कितने सारे प्रोग्राम हो गए, यहाँ पे कृष्ण जन्माष्टमी हो गया, उसके लिए भी नहीं आए. But rather appreciate them actually. Eventually they'll become what? Contributors. And some devotees, they want to remain at the level of contributor only. Like they say that, Prabhu, I have my big business, I have my this thing and things like that. I am ready to give donation, but please don't ask me to come to temple and things like that. So they'll be at that level only. But we should not compromise at that level only. We should try to make them at least what? Committed. And then eventually at least dedicated. So these committed devotees are the one actually who will eventually take up chanting of 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra. And then take some service also properly and then do that service. And by that service, actually what will happen? Everybody else also will come and appreciate them. Krishna also will recognize their actually, efforts in serving him. And they also feel that satisfaction. They also feel that internal joy in serving Krishna. So the goal of each one of the devotee, each one of us, first of all, we become at least what? Dedicated devotee. That whatever department or whatever service is given, we do it very nicely for the pleasure of Krishna, because ultimately at the end of life, whatever we have done for Krishna, that only will be counted. Whatever we have done for our mind, senses, anything that is for selfish purpose, none of those things are going to come with us. Only service to Krishna will be counted. Correct? No? So that is our eternal bank account. And when eternal bank account is there, we should try to fill it more and more so that we can, whenever need is there, we can draw more and more and things like that. So our goal as devotees, as friends, the ultimate goal is what? As I was telling you in the beginning, what is that? The Sudama and Krishna, both of them, they were holding each other's hand. At the same time, what they were doing? They were carrying the firewood also. So this is what I was saying, that we should have friendship amongst each other. But at the same time, the goal is what? To make the devotees at least committed devotee, if not dedicated. First of all, we should ourselves become dedicated devotees and then eventually become what? Missionary also. Like you see missionary devotees, you can see examples like the Maharajas, and Prabhupada, best missionary devotee actually. He had so many dedicated devotees under him. Correct? Then he produced more missionary devotees. And then the disciples of Prabhupada, they produced more missionary devotees. Like Radheshyam Prabhu, you see, each temple, his goal is that each temple should be having at least 5 sannyasis and 50 brahmacharis serving that temple. Just imagine, every temple in ISKCON should be having minimum 5 sannyasis and 50 brahmacharis. And there should be 20 buses in a temple. And each bus should be loaded with, books, with kirtan, and they should go in different, corners of the city and do Harinam and come back. And like that, he is trying to develop. And, everywhere, he is sending actually devotees practically to everywhere. Now you go to all over India, anywhere, people will know about, devotees of Radheshyam Prabhu, devotees of voice, devotees of youth preaching are there. Correct or no? So this is called what? Missionary devotee. Then there are dedicated devotees. So he will assign, okay, he will give one project to different brahmacharis and devotees. They will develop that project. Then they will make more projects actually. They are also becoming what? Missionary. So we may not be on the platform of missionary or dedicated, but at least we should try to become what? Committed. And we should try to bring others also on that level of commitment. That means then only we are falling in that category of Snigdha, Satovrati and Sajati actually. And whatever is required to bring those devotees from that platform of beneficiary to committed, that those three levels you have to follow. Snigdha, Sajati and Satovrati actually like that. Not try to pull down actually others. So when Sati, she, speaks to his father and she says actually, दोषां परेषां हि गुणेषु साधवो
दोषान् परेषां हि गुणेषु साधवो
गृह्णन्ति केचिन्न भवाद्रशो द्विजा
गृह्णन्ति केचिन् भवाद्रशो
गुणांश्च फल्गुण भूलि कृष्ण भूलि करिष्णवो
गुणांश्च फल्गुण करिष्णवो
महत्तमास्ते सब अविदत् भवान् अघम्. O Brahmana, saintly persons see that faults are capable of being transformed into good qualities and see good qualities, not the faults. You are opposite. The best persons magnify even meager good qualities in other person. You see only fault in others. So, by the power of association of devotees, hunter like, Mrigari can become a very soft-hearted devotee who are not wanting to even hurt the ants also. That is the power of association of devotees, actually like that. So, by our association, we should try to uplift the consciousness of other person. But at the same time, the question comes: just by association, can a crow become peacock? Just by association, can a crow become peacock? So sometimes when we are practicing Krishna consciousness, when we are actually dashed by our conditionings, we become hopeless and we think that, oh, I am like a crow only. I think I can never overcome my conditionings and things like that. But that is not the case with the devotees, at least with the human form of life. It is very easy to break this cycle, specifically by the association of devotees and by blessings of Krishna. Because it is said, right, that by blessings or by mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, a person who cannot walk, he can cross over the mountain. A person who cannot speak, he can speak very powerful, very nice poetry and things like that. That is what the case with each one of us actually. What qualification we have got to sit here and speak about Krishna? Nothing. It is all mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Prabhupada. Correct? No, otherwise we will continue our same karmi life, selfish life. Correct? The life of thief, like yesterday Prabhupada was telling. The technical word for thieves, scriptures, they don't want to hurt anybody. So those who are karmi, the real word actually for the karmi is what? Chor, so thief. But the technical word they give is karmi. People want to call them as karmi yogi and things like that. So, of course, artificially we can overcome, we cannot go on that platform also that, I'll just behave selflessly and things like that. But many times people ask this question, just by association a crow cannot become peacock. But that is not the case with human form of life, specifically when there is mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu transformed and showed it. You know that beautiful song that Pasupasi, Pasupaki Jire, Pasane Bidore, Sunidare, Gunagatha. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was going into the Harikan forest, that time actually he saw that actually these forest animals are there. That picture is there actually. That forest animals, they were there. There was a big group of mad elephants, they were taking baths. So Mahaprabhu went and sprinkled some water and they were making sounds of elephant. Immediately Mahaprabhu said, chant Haribol. And all the elephants were saying, Haribol, 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 like that. And then immediately Mahaprabhu was going and he was in ecstasy. And then there was another lion who was sleeping on the way. Mahaprabhu slapped him. Immediately the lion got up And Mahaprabhu told him, chant Hare Krishna. The lion went in ecstasy actually and he started chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And then whichever other lion and tiger, anybody came actually, they started all chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and the ecstasy increased so much that actually the stones also melted actually. And now also if you go to that particular place in Jarikanta, near Bokaro, that place is there actually. There are the footprints of the cows, the footprints of the elephants, footprints of the deers, footprints of the lions, footprint of Mahaprabhu are also there actually. On the stone actually, because the stone melted actually. Like that. So by mercy of Mahaprabhu, even the crow also can become peacock. It is possible. So we need not be hopeless like that. But on the other hand, those who are degraded in their consciousness, those fellows who are degraded in their consciousness, even somebody is doing good, actually they'll try to find fault with them. Like there is a devotee who does lot of hearing, and then some devotees come and say, Prabhu, sunta to bahut kuch hai, lekin apply kuch nahi karta hai. So this is what is this? Which category it is? Out of this, there is asadu, asadu tara, asadu tama, and ati asadu tama. He is what? He is seeing, see, first one is Mahat, means what? He will see something good is happening, he will see that good. Mahattara, Mahattara means he will see both good and bad, but focus on what? Good only. Like we see Maharada, we see only good. So that is Mahat category, we see that. Nice devotees. There are other devotees who are equals or who are seniors. Sometimes we see them that they are having some problem also. But we see only the good aspect. That is what? Mahattara. Mahattama, Mahattama means what? You see, a person has very little good qualities, but lot of bad qualities, but still you see that good quality only. Like a person coming only on Janmashtami to temple, still you appreciate it. That you, at least for Janmashtami you came actually, like that. And there is Ati Mahattama, a person doesn't have good qualities, still you appreciate him as part and parcel of Krishna. That is what? Ati Mahattama. That is what actually, the devotees who are on the highest level actually, they cannot find fault with anybody actually, like that. Like Yudhishthira Maharaj was told that, please find a person who is lesser than you and come. Or, who is lesser than you. And Duryodhana was told that please find a person who is better than you and come. So both of them, they went around the street. Both of them, they came empty-handed. Yudhishthira Maharaj did not find anybody who is lesser than him. Duryodhana did not find anybody who is better than him. So Duryodhana is in which category? Ati Asadutama. And Yudhishthira Maharaj is in which category? Ati Mahattara. So the next one is actually Asadu. Asadu means he sees only faults in others. And Asadu Tara means faults are also there, good is also there. But he will focus on what? Only faults. And Asadu Tama means what? The person has a lot of good qualities, but one little bad quality. That is called what? Asadu Tama. And Ati Asadu Tama means what? A person has no bad qualities, but still he will find bad in him. Like, so in this category is who? Daksha Prajapati. Lord Shiva has no bad qualities actually, but still he is finding faults with Lord Shiva and blasphemy. So, in our association, in the circle of friendship, actually, devotees will lie in one of these categories actually. So, we should be having the discrimination that we don't degrade to at least Asadu, Asadu Tama, Asadu Tara, or Asadu, Ati Asadu Tama. These are very dangerous too. At least come in the zone of Mahat. Try to see only on the good aspect. Forget about going to Ati Mahatama or something like it. Okay. So now Sati is saying here that O Brahmanas, saintly persons see that faults are capable of being transformed into good qualities and see good qualities, not the faults. You are the opposite. The best person magnify even meager qualities in other person. You see only fault in others. So, Daksha Prajapati, he is justifying his also his faults. Whatever nonsense he is doing, he is saying that I am not speaking out of envy. That is what exactly our consciousness also. Sometimes when we are finding fault with others, that time we will say, I am not saying it out of envy. I am not saying it out of this. I am not saying, it is not that I don't like the devotee and things like that. I am saying out of concern, as a matter of concern and things like that. But when the seniors are there, those who are actually snigdha, satovrati or sadati, they point out to us that Prabhu, you are degrading in your consciousness. Immediately we should accept it. We should not challenge them at least and things like that. Okay. So that is the practical application as sadhakas for us in our life, actually. Like that. So Sati sarcastically addressed Daksha as Brahman. So now she is seeing that actually, Daksha Prajapati, he is actually a Brahman, but he is not showing the quality of Brahman. What are the qualities of Brahman that Bhagavad Gita describes? Bhagavad Gita describes. What are the qualities of a Brahman? The sloka I am asking. Brahman means actually a person who is learned. What is the sloka? Very simple sloka. Pandita Samdarshan. What is that full sloka? No. I'm asking others, those who don't know. Prasad Prabhu will tell me. Vidya Vinay Sampanne Brahmani Vihastini Suni Cheva Swapaketa Pandita Samadarshana. Pandita means actually learned or Brahman. Sri Radha Madhav ki Sri Gauranta ki. So Pandita Samadarshana. So a person who can see, everybody on equal platform and then act accordingly also. A person sees everybody as part and parcel of Krishna, but he treats them differently. He treats them differently, like that. We have to treat everybody equally, but the treatment should be different also, like that. So that is why Sati, she is addressing Daksha as what? Brahman. He is not showing the qualities of being a Brahman. So Sati is showing which quality out of this? She is lying in which category? Mahat, Mahatara, Mahatama or Ati Mahatama? Which one? See, there is no good quality. He is not behaving at all like a Brahman, but still she is saying that you are a Brahman. Correct? So she is in which category? Ati Mahatama. Ati Mahatama means he doesn't see any good qualities in the other person, still he glorifies him. So Daksha Prajapati had no good qualities at all. He was not like at all like a Brahman actually. But still Sati is addressing him as what? Brahman. So this is sarcastic also. At the same time, she is seeing something good. That you are at least born in Brahman family. Daksha is a Brahman. You are not like that. Persons like you, that good qualities will turn into faults. You will think that someone who wants to help others will become greedy for their assets. Such persons are not gentlemen. So Sati starts speaking actually many things, but time is little lesser, so we will not go in details of whatever Sati spoke. But at the end, the conclusion is, in the association of devotees, I told you, association means three things. First thing is what? Krishna Katha. Next one? Knowledge transmission. Third one is heart transformation. So heart transformation means what? These things are supposed to take place. So H refers to humility and forgiveness. In the association of devotees, there will be problems, there will be difficulty. Like sometimes you are sleeping, some other devotee comes and plays very nice and lovely kirtan or something like that. You get disturbed and you start saying, "Hey, Prabhu, what are you doing? Simply disturbing my things," and like that. So one should be having some humility and forgive them. Forget about it. No problem. Whatever, daytime, night time, just forget it. Next one, we should encourage each other. Encourage each other to do more and more Krishna Katha, not sense gratification or Gramya Katha. Correct, no? Like some devotees, they'll be always, telling other devotee, like another devotee was there in the kitchen. Always used to be there in the kitchen. So one devotee came and said, Prabhu always would like, he likes to serve actually the kitchen and he does so many things. He, roasts so many chapatis for the devotees, makes puri, sabji, this, that, not. So this is called what? Encouraging. And then there is something called as fault finding. So it so happened that one time in one temple, actually, two senior devotees, they came for giving lecture. So one devotee was given Vyasasana initially and he said, see, the goal of life is to make our chanting pure. Until or unless you chant Suddhanam, you can't go. You can't think of going back to Godhead. Forget about going back to Godhead. You will not get even human form of life and things like that also. At least you chant the holy name of the Lord peacefully because you are just misutilizing the mercy that is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and things like that. And all devotees were like fully scared and they said peacefully and nothing, nobody spoke anything. Another devotee came and he said, oh, I am so grateful and so happy here in the association of devotees. When I came here, I felt like this is another family only. When I landed in the airport, devotees came to receive me. I went in the temple, devotees did very wonderful kirtan. And then, nice high-class prasadam, high-class arrangement, and nice Vyasasan for speaking. And you are all so much eager to hear Krishna Katha. I am for sure that actually you are all going to achieve Krishna in the end of your life because you are all so dear to Krishna actually, so nicely serving Krishna. Extending your time, energy, everything actually for Krishna. Immediately at the end, for 5 minutes, everybody was clapping actually. Why? Because the devotee spoke what? Encouraging things. Correct or no? So we should try to encourage others, not try to degrade. Let's say another devotee comes, first time he's coming, and he's coming after 2 weeks, and you ask him, Prabhu, how is everything going on? And then and how's your chanting going on? And the devotee says, Prabhu, I was chanting 8 rounds, but now because of health reasons and all, somehow or other I could chant only 2 rounds. Hey, degraded in your life, what is the use? Don't you know the importance of human form of life? You know. If you miss this chance, then cycle of 84 like species again you will continue. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, jatarasena. Then the devotee is like, my lord, kidhar aa gaya hai? Sri jagah pe aaya nahi aaya, things like that. At the same time, some devotee they speak in such a way that, oh Prabhu, your health was not good, not a problem. Whatever rounds remain, no problem. You can cover it later. Take care of your health also. That is very important. But at the same time, it's not compromise on the scriptural truths also. We should say them, those things in such a way that it is encouraging to them actually. The spiritual truths we should speak in such a way that it is encouraging. We should not compromise. Like I have seen some great devotee, they don't compromise at all. Whatever the other person, maybe, whether he is a big person, great person or whatever. Like His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. There was a big donor actually. Very huge donor actually. Crores and crores of rupees every month he gives donation in Delhi temple. That person came to meet Maharaj. And Maharaj said, मंदिर आते हो? He said, आता हूँ महाराज. कितना दिन में एक बार आते हो? महीने में, 2 महीने में, 4 महीने में, कभी कभी तो आ जाता हूँ. महाराज आते हो, दारू पीते हो? He said, कभी कभी महाराज पीना पड़ता है सब फ्रेंड्स के साथ. नरक जाओगे. महाराज what he said? महाराज very normally only speak, नरक जाओगे. ऐसे like this only. You'll go to hell. And that person is like, Maharaj. And just because Maharaj said like this, he stopped giving, drinking, that. And Maharaj spoke, as a matter of concern. And he did not compromise on truth also. But we should not think that we are on the level of Maharaj. And we start telling others, Narak Jayega. Okay? So we should try to be actually more and more encouraging to the devotees. Right? That is very important. And then third thing is appreciate devotees. Appreciate. See, many times we have appreciation for devotees, but we don't speak it out. And the other devotee is thinking, Prabhu, मेरे बारे में क्या सोचते हैं? Things like that. And then he tells, no, Prabhu, I love you. I have a lot of love and affection. And I appreciate you and things like that. But we should express it also. When somebody does something good, actually, we should appreciate it also. Like I'll give an example. Actually, there was one husband and wife. Both of them, they were having fight. They went, to the court. That we want planning to go for divorce and things like that. When they went to the court, court general rule in India is actually 6 months time is given for the first hearing. That within 6 months, again you are not aligning, then you can separate. And generally, in emergency case, immediately also it is given. And things. So then, the court judge said that, why you want to separate and things like that. They said that we have no bond, we have no loving affection or relationship amongst each other and things like that. Already they are married, having 2 children and things like that. Still they want to separate. So then the judge, out of compassion, he said that go and consult such and such doctor. He will help you out there, so that you can resolve your issues amongst yourselves. So then they went to that particular doctor. The doctor said to the husband and wife, and the doctor found that actually the husband was unreasonable fellow actually. He was not having any love and affection. He was not taking care of the wife at all. Also at the same time, he was very hard-hearted actually. He was not reciprocating at all with the wife. So he said to the wife, you can go, and he told to the husband that you come back here and things like that. And he told to the husband that, tomorrow onwards you do one thing. You just give a bunch of flowers every day morning to your wife. Fresh flowers, like that. So then the husband said, okay, if that helps, I will do. But what is that bunch of flowers will do? What she will do with the flowers? He said, you won't understand that. Just do it. So then after 1 month again, the husband and wife came for consultation to the doctor. And the doctor asked the husband, is he reciprocating with you? She said, no, nothing doing. He is not doing any reciprocation. Then the doctor asked, but I told him to give you flowers. He is not giving flowers. The husband said, yeah, I am giving her flowers. And then the wife said, but he never gave me flowers. I kept on the table. No, you would have taken the flowers. So the husband was bringing the flowers, but he was keeping on what? Table and just going and things like that. But then the wife actually appreciated. Oh, thank you very much. At least you did this endeavor of bringing the flowers and keeping it on the table for my pleasure and happiness and things like that. Just because the wife appreciated this little bit actually thing in the husband, actually their relationship again collaborated, and the divorce did not happen. And now both of them are very famous counselors for marriage guru in the outside world, not within ISKCON, but outside world actually. Just because of appreciation, so many things takes place actually like that. And the next one is respect. Not only that we encourage, we appreciate, but at the same time we respect the advancement or the Krishna consciousness of the other devotee actually in their purity, in their practice of Krishna consciousness, whatever practice they are doing actually. Like newcomer is also practicing, the senior devotee is also practicing, but the respect is also according to their advancement in Krishna consciousness. And the last thing, the most difficult thing is what? Tolerance. So in the association of devotees, the heart transformation will not take place just like that. Just as when the diamond is there, now how the diamond's corners are so much smooth, because what they do, they cut the diamonds and they keep all the diamonds in one particular jar, then they rotate it. And all the diamonds, they hit each other's corner and things like that. And when they hit each other's corner, actually they become very smooth. The diamond is the hardest substance, right? You cannot cut with anything else. So they cut each other only. And that's how they become very smooth. That is why it is said, in the association of devotees, false ego gets purified. That is the highest thing actually to purify within the material. See, by chanting Hare Krishna mantra, what gets purified? Mind gets purified. By reading scriptures, intelligence gets purified. By engaging in services, senses gets purified. By association of devotees, false ego will get purified. The association of devotees, sometimes devotees will follow all this, heart, but many times they won't follow all things. They will say, Prabhu, आपका मोपिंग नहीं किया, जाके करके आओ. And if you like, अरे प्रभु, मेरा मोपिंग था आपने बोला, अभी थोड़ा आराम से बोल सकते हैं. नहीं प्रभु, आराम की बात बात की है, पहले जाके करो सेवा. And when you are doing mopping, other devotee comes and says, Prabhu, today your gamcha was lying above in the bathroom only, you left it there only. Don't you have a little bit sense that other devotee will come and take bath? ये complete करने दो मेरे को, दूसरा भी कर रहा हूँ. Some other devotee may come and say something else. When you are mopping, you say, Prabhu, that थोड़ा rice grain पड़ा है, थोड़ा उसे clean करो ना, अच्छे से दिखता नहीं है क्या आपको? So we have to tolerate. So then real association will take place. So in the association of devotees, I told you in the beginning, just to conclude. Beginning we discussed actually 3 things should take place. What is that? Association means what? Krishna Katha, knowledge transmission and heart transmission. Then eventually we discussed actually many things. We discussed about Snigdha, Satovrati and Sajatiya. Then we discussed actually about that how our goal of life actually to transform people from beneficiary to the level of at least committed devotees. So there is beneficiary, there is contributor, there is committed, there is dedicated, and there is missionary. So missionary is still our goal, but at least to the level of committed or dedicated, we should try to go and we should try to bring others also. Then only we are acting as a friend to others. And that transmission, while the transmission takes place or the transformation takes place, we should follow this heart. Then only heart transformation will take place. That is humility and forgiveness in the association of devotees. Encouraging statements to each other, appreciate each other, respect each other, and at the same time, tolerate in the association of devotees. Like you will tell some devotees as in charge, still they won't do it. 2 times also you tell they won't do it. 3 times also they won't do it. But so better to tolerate, rather than just going and blaspheming them and things like that. Understand that actually this is not his nature. This seva can be assigned to somebody else and things like that. So thank you very much. Any questions or comments? Yes, come this.
What is the difference between Snigdha and Satori? You mentioned that both of them uplift our consciousness.
So Snigdha means actually he, does that thing out of compassion. Okay? Out of compassion for us. Like some things may not be done out of compassion for you, but still it may be Satovrati. Satovari. For example, when Chintamani told to Bilvamangal Thakur that had it been that if you would have associated or the way that you are aspiring for my association, if you have actually aspired like that actually for Krishna, you would have achieved Krishna in your life. Now she said it out of compassion or just like that normal comment she passed. Normal comment, but was it uplifting in consciousness of Bilvamangal Thakur or no? So this is what? Satovari. But it is not Snigdha. Understand? But in Krishna consciousness, generally devotees will be Snigdha, Satovari. Like some devotees may be having compassion, but that may not be uplifting our consciousness. For example, let's say your health is not good and you are not coming for a morning program. And devotees come and say, "Okay, Prabhu, you could not come make up for morning program." Not a problem. It's okay, fine. But then some devotees they come and say, "Prabhu, health is not a good, not good. But your health is not so bad also that you can't make up for morning program or at least for chanting and things like that." Understand? So you should come out of bodily comfort of life and things like that. So it may not be, soothing to our ego, but actually it is uplifting to our consciousness and it is done out of compassion, at least by seniors. Correct? No? Like that. Any other questions or comments? Yes, Yogesh.
I had mentioned that sometimes we speak out the case with Daksha because speaking to Śrīla that I'm not speaking out of envy, it's out of concern. How do we identify on the personal level that we are speaking out of envy or concern?
Very good. So the question is, when we are speaking, sometimes, how do we identify whether we are speaking out of envy or out of compassion? So that is where actually the question comes, or the matter comes of Vaishnava etiquettes. So we follow Vaishnava etiquette. Vaishnava etiquette means what? We know our adhikar. What is my adhikar? Whom I can give correction, whom I am not supposed to give correction. Like let's say, some devotees, they are discussing Krishna Katha amongst each other and things like that. And they are equal to us. And they are open to our suggestions. Then we can give them suggestions. Correct, no? But some devotees whom you know that if you see them little bit, it will just inside their ego and things like that. Then better to keep distance or tell those devotees who can help them, actually. So when we are in that consciousness of helping others, then our energy or focus will be that somehow or other the devotee should be helped in his Krishna consciousness, other than just correcting, or rather than just pinpointing his fault. So what Daksha was doing? Just pinpointing the fault, even though there was no fault. Correct or no? He was not speaking out of compassion or something like that. He was speaking purely out of envy. Correct? Or no? So in our practice, when we are doing, whenever we are practicing Krishna consciousness, we follow the Vaishnava etiquette is very simple. Seniors means actually we don't envy them because they give a lot of comments and feedbacks to us. Equals, we try to boast ourselves that they care, wo care, contact, things like that. Rather, we keep friendship with them. And youngers, we try to show mercy. So when these three things come, then life is quite peaceful and happy, rather than going in the mode of just giving always feedbacks. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, Anita.
How can one increase their consciousness?
How can one uplift one's consciousness? So, uplifting of consciousness means what? Consciousness means what? Krishna consciousness. So, the more we become Krishna conscious, more our consciousness is getting lifted. Okay? What all those things are there which help you to become more Krishna conscious? Try to do those activities. For example, chanting Hare Krishna. Directly you think about whom? Krishna. You hear? So that helps you to what? Become Krishna conscious. Correct? Then associate with devotees who are trying to associate with devotees who
लाइट का
are
बोला था 8 बजे कर देना
मनोज को थोड़ा म्यूट करेंगे अपने So associate with devotees who are trying to uplift your consciousness, who try to encourage you in your spiritual practices, or to become more and more Krishna conscious, to become more and more selfish. In the association of devotees, also sometimes some devotees they will say that Prabhu, आप कुछ ज़्यादा ही जल्दी उठ रहे हैं, इतना जल्दी उठने का भी जरूरत नहीं है, get up little late, थोड़ा मॉर्निंग प्रोग्राम में मिस कर सकते हैं, थोड़ा क्लास इतना भी ज़्यादा क्या करने का दिख रहा है. So is that uplifting your consciousness or degrading your consciousness? You should not derive inspiration from such devotees, or rather keep little respectful distance from such devotees. Correct? No? And we should try to associate with devotees who see every situation through Shastra Chakshu. And they can appreciate Krishna's vision than their own vision also. Okay, try to associate with those devotees. Like any other more ordinary material situation also is there, they will see it in a Krishna conscious way. For example, I'll give an example, actually become very clear. One time it so happened that devotees, actually they were going for book distribution. When they were going for book distribution, one car, the vehicle in which they were going for book distribution actually on the way got punctured actually. Now some devotees, they said, Prabhu, we're thinking that today we'll distribute so many books and come and this, that and everything like that. Another devotee said that not a problem, Krishna has some better plans. So nearby only there was a, what is that, toll booth was there actually. A lot of vehicles were passing and things like that. So they got down, they took their books and started distributing their books. And there actually one big donor came. And one devotee was distributing books. So he gave a bundle of 500 rupees notes. And this devotee was hesitating. What is this? He's giving me so much notes. And he said, see, I come to your ISKCON temple and things like that. Actually, I was thinking to go and give this money to temple only. But today I had a urgent flight also. I could not make it up. I was thinking that probably next visit or after 1 year or 2 years when I'm back, that time I'll give the donation, things like that. But I met you, so I'll give you, and you give me some books, so I'll give to my colleagues and things like that. Whatever carton, full books they had, everything they gave. So when these devotees, they came back, actually the devotees, some devotees out of, when the vehicle got punctured, they were disturbed like anything at all. They went back actually to other place and they went to the temple and things like that. And in the evening also when they came, today's day was very bad actually, and this happened, that happened. Vehicle got punctured and all this. But these devotees actually, when they came back and they said, see, Krishna made our day. Krishna had better plans actually. Since they were able to see actually through Shastra Chakshu that Krishna has got some better plans. And even if the books are also not distributed, still one should know that Krishna has got some better plans. Like that story of that merchant who are trying to go for ship. But when he went to the temple, he prayed to the Lord, police caught him and put him behind bars. And then that merchant was thinking, my Lord, I was going for the voyage and I am put behind the bars. But that day he did not go for the voyage and he went behind the bars because the ship got drowned actually. So that way his life got saved. And he was released actually from the jail because eventually it was found that he was innocent. So Krishna has always better plans. So those devotees who can help us to develop this Shastra Chakshu, we try to associate with them. And those devotees who try to degrade our Shastra Chakshu, try to keep respectful distance with them. So even circumstances or situation also we can go and discuss with our seniors and say that, Prabhu, I came across this situation. How do I see it in Krishna consciousness? Understanding? That will help us to uplift our consciousness. So next time when we come across that kind of situation, then we will see it in that way. Correct, no? Otherwise, we will see it in other way. Like when this center was building up, things were going on. So actually everything is done by Krishna. We were just instrument, and I got full conviction of it. So many times when I thought that I will do it, Krishna thoroughly helped me. And so many times I thought that Krishna desires, seniors are desiring, it will happen. Without even putting even single endeavor, actually those things are done. Like one day I was just sitting, and first floor was getting built and things like that. And everything was done, and I was thinking, actually, it is nice if we have some tables and chairs and some cupboards on first floor so the devotees can keep their things. Next day morning, I don't know from where 5 cupboards and 10 tables came. Till date also, I don't know the devotee who is that person. I asked the person who came for delivery, please tell me who is that person who gave this delivery. They said that the person has told us not to tell the thing. Krishna's miracle. We planned it. Another time, just before Janmashtami, actually this side staircase we were planning to make. And at the same time, The occupation certificate of the building also we were planning to get. And I was going and meeting the authorities and I was thinking, I'll just do it. And in our steering committee and all the seniors were said, oh, everybody had to get it, don't worry. And I was like, foaming at my mouth, going, calling them, coming, going, coming, going. Thoroughly humbled. It was not done at all only. And without their permission, actually, we cannot build extra because it will be then considered as encroachment or additional part. We may not get occupation certificate. And within Bangalore, so much problem happened because of without having occupation certificate, you won't get electricity connection, you won't get water connection and things like that. The day, this is like next day is Janmashtami. Today, night, previous day night actually. One day before night. Night 9 p.m. I get the message. No, your occupation certificate is issued actually. Because and I was like, Then immediately I phoned up actually the person that please come and put the stairs. And he said nothing doing. One day who will put? And I was calling till night, midnight, 1 o'clock. And I was humbled and I was praying to the Lord, oh Lord, I have given promise to the devotees. Now it is up to you only to keep this promise. Otherwise, in case if the stairs are not made, one side only coming and no going, the traffic will be too much actually of the people, 5,000, 7,000 people coming and going, too much actually. So then I prayed to the Lord. Next day morning, actually, the welder whom I used to call regularly, he said, आपने call किया था मैं hometown में गया था. It was raining a lot, so I could not pick up your call. What was the work? I said, this stairs has to be done. He said, कितना time है? 24 hours. He said, पैसा ज़्यादा लगेगा. ठीक है, अब आके करो पहले. Then I, reduced the amount also, and then he did. Next day morning is Janmashtami, and midnight 12 o'clock is the stairs are ready and devotees are coming even the day before of Janmashtami. हो जाएगा क्या प्रभु अभी तो आप दीवारी तोड़ रहे हैं things like that. So Krishna knows. So when we think that actually we are the doer, Krishna will already humble us. But when we depend on Krishna, Krishna will make some more of it. So those devotees who help us to develop this Shastra Chakshu to see Krishna's hand, we should try to associate with them and ask them also, Prabhu, how to see this situation. When I asked Krishna Prabhu, how do I see this situation? So much of trouble, so much of mental pressure, so much of anxiety. He said, this is the way Krishna tries to humble his devotees. We think that we are the doer actually. Otherwise, how we will become humble actually? So it was a very nice lesson for me. Like that, there are hundreds and thousands of circumstances, situations that we came across. Krishna thoroughly humbled. Like in the beginning, when we were putting the pillars of this building, one of the devotee encouraged me and he gave पूरा में ठोक दो, पूरा जमीन में ठोक दो, जितना एरिया पूरे में लगा दो पिलर. And I was also thinking पूरा एरिया बनाएंगे, बड़ा हॉल बनाएंगे, that big hall be there and things like that. And then some other devotee came and he complained saying that nothing doing actually like this. Many people tried building. Eventually they got cheated actually by the owners. The owners took over the building and the money is also gone and things like that. So already actually the foundation is put. So the digging is done and underground also some work and things are done. So immediately the music Prabhu called me and said, hey, we should have a meeting before deciding that whether we should go ahead with this plan and all. So then at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, actually we had meeting with the Haryana Bhavan, the trustees and things like that. They said, see, you can build whatever you want to build, but follow the government rules. If you are following the government rules, nobody can do anything. And then Prabhuji and we were discussing what to do, what not to do. Then we said, okay, let's forget about the deviations. And next day, actually, the Muhurta time and all the devotees are coming and things like that. Again, we have to fill up the holes. Whatever jelly, berry, and things like that, whatever we have done. I called the JCB person and I said, please put it back. And he was shouting, hey, मैंने पहले ही बोला था government rule follow करो, तुम मेरा बात नहीं सुना ये. Telling the laborers, they were saying, sir, हमने पहले बोला था आपको. ठीक है बाबा जो भी हो गया अभी फिर से करो तुमको पैसा मिलेगा इसका. And again we filled the halls, again we made another foundation for these things and then we built it. And then just after 20 days that actually new rule came. Till then there was no rule. Rule came that without occupation certificate you won't get electricity connection, you won't get water connection. So it was very nice. So much of mental pressure and I was thinking why that fellow complained unnecessarily actually. And in midnight meeting, this, that, and all. So that time I was disturbed. That fellow is envious of me and this, that, and everything. But then later I could recognize actually whatever happened was for good only. Correct? No? So that time I saw the devotee as a villain, but then eventually I understood Krishna has better plans. If somebody is complaining also, saying something completely against us also, understand that Krishna has got somebody. So I was thoroughly humbled actually by that situation, that I should not find fault with devotees actually. Like that. So like that, there are hundreds of situation. Another thing that happens in the association of devotees, when we take challenging services, lot of challenges are given, and when you are like defeated thoroughly, then you take association of devotees also seriously, and you take help of others also. That association and that kind of situation, circumstances are very much uplifting in our consciousness. Like Sudama and Krishna also, they are remembering this situation only, where they went for collecting the firewood, and they are, encountered actually by the storm and rain and wind and everything. So the challenges came in their life, but still they did not give the service. At the same time, each other also. So when challenges come, difficulties come, still we don't give up the association of devotees. We hold on. That gives powerful realization. And those realizations, you don't have to go and publish somewhere. You can just relish in your heart. You will be blissfully going on in your Krishna consciousness. And that will happen provided we take the circumstances or every situation that is coming in our life. We ask our seniors or ask others who are raised in their consciousness, how do I see it in a Sanskrit way? That will help us. Okay? Thank you very much. Śrīla Prabhupāda. So thank you, online devotees. Hare Krishna.
Krishna.